Estou aqui ao vivo no link aqui para o YouTube, que a gente vai acompanhar a transmissão ao vivo do time do Diablo 4, fazendo todas as revelações para a quarta temporada. Estou ao vivo agora no YouTube para acompanhar o time do Diablo 4, para fazer o primeiro live de devs sobre a Season 1 do jogo, que vai começar agora em julho, vamos ver a data, e todas as novidades que vão vir. Vou traduzir aqui simultaneamente da melhor forma possível. Entra aqui no link no YouTube, e se você não puder acompanhar agora, vai ficar tudo gravado lá no canal do YouTube. Vamos ver se vai ter... Não tem. ver o que vai ter de novidade. Espero que tenha balanceamento, buffs na galera. Olha, temos uma nova classe. Desenvolvimento sobre o conteúdo para Diablo Immortal e Diablo 4, incluindo uma visão detalhada da nova classe. Ah, tá, Diablo Immortal. Primeira temporada de Diablo 4. Aparentemente já tem um Twitch drop. Já dá pra resgatar. São 3 itens. Depois eu vou pegar. Twitch drop já saiu. A galera pedindo pra bufar os minions do necromante.
Hello.
Começou.
That's it? That's how you open? Hello.
I'm gonna do that every single time.
Hello.
Welcome to another Diablo developer update live stream. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the community director for the Diablo franchise. We've got some wonderful people here. We just have Rod.
Yeah, well,
Rod.
Not part of the wonderful crew, I guess.
Yeah. He decided to insert himself as of yesterday, so.
What is the power? If you have power, you should use it whenever possible, and I've decided to.
So we have Rod here, who is, of course, the general manager of the Diablo
Universe?
Universe?
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way
All
to say
things Diablo.
Can't use the word franchise.
Pierre's not here now.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we have Chris Leal.
Então tem o diretor de comunidade à direita.
And Ryan Quinn.
I'm senior narrative designer on Immortal.
So,
Esse aí é diretor de
we are actually starting
narrativa,
off today's
senior.
show with some Diablo Immortal conversations. Also, I do want to mention we're using new fancy mics today. We've been joking around, and I call them the Britney Spears mic.
Right.
Britney
Rod
Spears
calls them the
mic.
Janet Jackson mic.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Jackson. There
It's
you
because
go.
I'm older.
Rod, but is not wearing one
I
of
refuse.
them.
It doesn't take a genius to see the size of my head, and the ability to put that little wire around this size of noggin is impossible. So therefore, I've passed.
Disappointing.
Ou
But
que
he does have a really
a
good
cabeça dele é
impression
muito
of
grande pra pôr o
Britney Spears.
I am not
microfone.
doing it now.
Oh.
I am not doing it.
Okay, maybe we can get it
I,
out of him.
I'll knot my shirt later. It'll be good.
Maybe we can get it out of him during Q&A. Someone asked that question in Twitch chat. We'll make sure to bring that up during Q&A. And
Great.
there you go. You're just on the spot and you have to answer it. So
I think it's important that, like, last time you clarified what we were doing was the campfire, which is more of a casual, we're just kind of giving updates. You know, we just want to be able to talk to the community.
Yes.
This is more of a developer stream, so it's a bit more official.
Yes.
But one of the things we wanted to recognize too is that, like, as a family of games, there's lots of cool stuff happening within in Diablo, and so we don't always want to just be focused on just D4. We want, anytime there's something big or really interesting happening within Diablo, we want to be able to talk about it.
Ele tá falando
You
que
know, I could imagine we're going to have a
focado em
season
Diablo
29
4,
conversation
mas
for Diablo 3 at some point in the future.
quando tiver de
And so
desenvolvimento de
one of the things we're going to
Diablo,
look at,
o modo
wanted
também
to
vai
do
aparecer.
today was not just talk about, you know, we are definitely going to talk about Season 1 on Diablo 4. And for some reason, Adam has structured this to be as tantric as possible. We'll get there, trust us, but it's going to take a minute. But what we really want to look at as well is we want to talk about we're going to talk a little bit about what's the preseason before we go into Season 1. We're going to talk about, you know, what's going on with D4 today, because we actually have some news about today. Another tease, didn't mean that. And
Tantric.
and then we want to talk a little bit about Diablo Immortal, because something pretty incredible is happening in Diablo Immortal, which is in nearly a decade, we're having our first new Diablo character class is being revealed. And we wanted to reveal it here on this stream. So, you know, one of the things
Vai
about,
revelar
great things about Blizzard is the
uma classe pro
SFB
Diablo
team, story
Immortal
and
que ninguém
franchise,
liga.
and Blizzard Video and everything that they do around cinematics. And we thought, how could we introduce a new character class without having a kick-ass video to go with it? So without further ado, may we present to you the new Diablo character class coming to Diablo Immortal very, very soon.
Tá, a cinemática do novo personagem do Diablo Immortal. Nova classe.
The darkness has always been with us.
Castlevania, e você?
To fear it. The darkness wants to consume
Retire? I don't know.
all you love. But my kind claim its power and wield it in defiance.
É Você é um vampiro ou é um lobisomem? Um demônio?
Humanity is right to fear the darkness. But I
Eita,
am
Castlevania.
light, and the darkness fears me.
It's better. Lobisomem, não, vampiro. Yeah. Blood Knight, tá, mago de...
And there we have it. The new
Mago de
class
sangue.
coming to Diablo and Diablo Immortal. It's the Blood Knight.
July 13th. It's
July
like
13th.
a little over a week away.
Exactly.
Sounds like there might have been some encoding issues.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that some people are talking about there's a little bit of pitching on it and so forth. I will say that we actually do have that trailer that will be on a blog on DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream, so people can actually check it out. It will be on YouTube, along with all the details that we're about to talk about.
Então o trailer vai ficar disponível assim que terminar a stream.
Obviously, first
Aqui no
new class
YouTube,
to
etc.
the Diablo universe in nearly 10 years. I think there's a lot of questions in regards to like the story and so forth.
Ele tá falando que há 10 anos não lança uma classe nova no mundo de Diablo, né? Uma classe que ainda não foi explorada nos outros jogos
I
anteriormente.
think historically,
when we released DI, we released it with these sort of 6 very, very familiar, very stalwart classes that all of us love, that many of us have been playing for decades. And it's great to kind of indulge in that nostalgia. It's great to get that dopamine hit of playing a classic. But after 6 classes, it left us with the opportunity to do something that felt really new and different. To do a supernatural class that's kind of monstrous.
A ideia é...
Things that our other dark classes like the Necromancer and the Demon Hunter don't do.
Yes, every time I
We're
try
really, really
to
stoked about the
rise
opportunity to
the
release
volume,
Blood Knight
that's
on
happened.
everybody.
Nice. Yeah, I know, like, obviously everyone's
go
kind of
back
seeing the Blood
here.
Knight and they're thinking, like, is this, like, vampiric in some sort of way? Or, like, how does this fit in with...
Details are Blood Knights and
Wish.
vampires are intertwined.
O que ele tá falando aqui é que
Vampires are kind of like living plagues. They go from hunting ground to hunting ground. They kill people.
todas
they
as
bite
classes
people, and
anteriores,
sometimes
né, são
people,
básicas,
they
são
bitten,
fantasias
they
já
suffer
pré-estruturadas
this
e
monstrous transformation.
eles
They
sempre
start to
trazem
go
de
full
volta
on
porque
what we call
faz
thrall,
parte
kind of
dessa
like lesser vampiric
coisa clássica do
beings,
Diablo, mas eles
hunger for
queriam
blood, all
ir
that
pra
stuff.
algo novo.
And a Blood Knight is a person who, through means of an ancient ritual, has that curse of thraldom arrested inside them, frozen essentially in place. They get some advantages, but they get some drawbacks.
Castlevania,
What do you mean the curse of turning into a thrall is a drawback?
Alucard, você...
Well, their thraldom is essentially on pause. So basically what happens is a Blood Knight, also preternaturally strong and fast, can see in the dark, can smell blood from a mile away, doesn't age anymore, as
Yeah.
you've seen in the concept art, very, very fancy. But on
this
the
microphone
flip
don't
side,
hold
you know, they
much
have these blood red eyes. They have
Equalizing.
black veins in their face,
Equalizing.
makes people uncomfortable.
don't
and
see
maybe
why.
yeah, I know, right?
I could be more
And sort of more
excited
pivotally
about this
than that,
class, but
you know,
it's
deep
Diablo
inside
Immortal,
their
so
soul,
whatever.
There is an abomination, a monstrous darkness that hungers for violence. And in order to tamp that down, in order to slow their transformation further, they have to perform a ritual. That keepsake that you saw in our cinematic character's right hand, the little thing on the chain.
Oh, the chain, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically their lifeline.
I
So,
see.
so
A-
like,
a link to
Okay.
their past.
yeah. It's got a memento within of the last place that they were kind of truly human.
Right.
And so every
Ah, ele é
morning
tipo
and night,
mágico de
they're doing
sangue.
ablutions with this thing to
E
hopefully
tipo Vladimir
continue to keep the darkness at bay. But you know, it's
do
a
League of
process.
Legends.
Right.
The ritual, it's hearsay.
Não um
you know, it's
vampiro,
been
ele é
passed down
mago
for
de
hundreds of
sangue.
years.
Mas aqui é mais
Basically,
como se
every
fosse
Blood
uma...
Knight, you know, it may fail at some point.
Uma
All
maldição.
Blood Knights are doomed to one day succumb to their curse.
And they don't know if that's 1 day, 1 year, 1,000 years.
could
E
be
em algum
centuries,
momento
right?
eles
They're very, very
podem
long.
basicamente se
What they
tornar
do
monstros
know, and what
permanentes.
they pledge on is that they're going to use all of the time they have left to push back the darkness. And ultimately, for them, since that is such an uncertain
Não
question,
adianta.
it's really about their inner sense of balance. Can I do enough good
Right.
to make up for
Agora
the
que
evil
Diablo
that
4
will rise when I'm gone?
engatou, né? Eles querem
Yeah, I just wanted to give
tentar ganhar
a
pouco de
shout out, 'cause we had the
marketing
art
ali do
there
lado.
earlier, and that art is gorgeous looking. At the same time, they're very pretty. I've been joking about it. I'm like, oh,
Henry Cavill, it's you.
If you were going to turn into a monster, you'd want to stop
Well,
right
it's
there,
funny
right?
because they're very like gorgeous here, and then they turn into the abomination, which is really funny to see.
Claro, ele tá falando que eles são, mesmo que eles são muito
Well, I mean,
tenebrosos,
you
eles são muito
mentioned the
bonitos.
abomination.
Claro,
I
tem que
think
vender.
we saw the Blood Knight turn
Basically.
into this creature during that. So what actually is going on here? Like this is I guess Chris will talk eventually about like how an abomination comes to be, but this is basically them tapping into what's inside them to change form.
Yeah, they're letting the curse off the leash just a little bit. It's going to grant them extreme power in the short term.
This is the Bruce Banner
but-
Hulk thing.
Yeah, but maybe there's a little anime teardrop there of like, do I come back from this?
Já falando que tem um pouco de inspiração nos animes,
I
né?
know with the Blood
Você
Knight,
pode virar
obviously, like,
monstro,
new class. How does it
ganhar
fit
esses
into
poderes, que seria
the-
parte da
the-
maldição que
like,
você ainda
the gameplay stuff? Like,
controla
what- if
antes de
you're
você
playing
se
a
tornar
Blood
esse
Knight,
monstro
what
pra
can you
sempre.
expect the style to be as a person that's actually jumping into Diablo?
Yeah, so the Blood Knight is actually a melee hybrid class, meaning there's tons of up-close combat with polearms. However, they have a host of shadow and blood abilities they can use to manipulate the battlefield in their favor. I think the drawback of Blood Knights might be that players that start playing it might feel that their mobility is limited. However, they have tons of legendary essences to help them improve the ability to close the gap on enemies, as well as life-stealing abilities to help them sustain themselves in lengthy combat.
Eles têm
Got it. So,
mecânica
like,
de
in combat more often,
sustain,
close combat, so
de
they're
sugar
more damage,
dano.
but then they have abilities themselves
E-
that essentially drain, as we can see, kind of like life from others, essentially replenish their life while they're in combat.
Mas eles não têm uma grande mobilidade naturalmente
the
das
kebab attack,
habilidades.
as I like to call it.
The skewer.
The skewer attack is my favorite thing right now. I was like, so what's happening there? We saw it in the trailer. We see it here as well, is where they're basically able to stab an enemy, smash it around like as if on the end of a hammer.
Swain, League of Legends,
Chris is like, yeah, that's basically it. That you define it.
misturado com Belmont.
But it actually has a
Questão
stun as
velha.
well, right? It's not just the attack on the one thing that you skewer. It actually it has an area effect.
Yeah, so the Blood Knight stabs their polearm forward into the closest enemy, then swings overhead the enemy and slams it into the ground, stunning everyone in a small AoE. And there are also legendary essences that let you lunge forward or actually leap to perform the slam.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's awesome.
And then I know, like, of course, with every class in Immortal, they all have different ultimates depending on their primary attack skills and so forth. Like, what kind of two different ultimates can we expect with the Blood Knight?
Yeah, I could talk a bit about the primary attacks. The first is Ravage. They're basically swinging their polearm around in a 3-hit combo. And right here is the ultimate, where they become a 5-hit combo with a stun at the end. And
Dual wielding pole arms, that's I like.
Essa classe me parece muito
primary attack they have is called
mobile
Shadow Stance.
mesmo em relação às
Quite a unique
outras.
one. It's the first in Immortal where the in
Não
melee
tem
range, the
uma-
Blood Knight will do a slash. And
apelo muito
for
forte
enemies that
pra
are
mim,
further
tipo,
away, they'll actually
será que vai
throw
pra
the
Diablo
dagger.
4?
There are legendary essences that
Acho que não.
add damage over time,
Ela tem muito
or
cara
make the
de
dagger
classe
ricochet.
pá, jogo
Nice. So you can
mobile.
essentially, it's good room clear type of abilities is what I'm hearing. So if you got a ton of mobs in front of you, especially if the daggers are ricocheting and you mentioned piercing and so forth with the ultimate and everything, you can essentially clear out whole rooms with that. So it's awesome to hear. I know, as you mentioned beforehand, tons of legendary essences and everything that are associated to kind of modify skills. I know, and we're even seeing
E aí
here,
você
just
já
like
tem, por
the
exemplo,
abomination that we were talking about
So
beforehand.
why would I want to become the abomination? What do I get from that?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the Abomination a bit. The way it works is it is a transformative skill that requires defeating enemies to fill the bar, much like your ultimate.
Right.
However, it happens much more often, and it then transforms your entire skill bar into a new primary attack, followed by 2 specific skills, a Blood Rush, where the Blood Knight actually dashes forward in
Transformação.
a ball of blood, and then there's a 3-hit combo attack where if on the last hit
Não sei se eu
they climb
gostei.
in the air and slam the
Não
ground,
jogo, mas
stunning everyone.
já que eu tô aqui fazendo, né?
Nice. That's awesome to see. I think with this update that's coming out on the 13th and the Blood Knight itself, and there are like even other components and that are kind of going to be coming with this actual update. Do you guys have any like additional information on?
Well, there's ways to play it, right? Like,
Yeah.
so the things that's really interesting. Like, I think having a new character class introduced on basically the anniversary of Diablo Immortal is really exciting. Like, it's a great way to celebrate 1 year that Immortal has been at. It's hard to believe it's already been a year.
Nossa, fazer ano que Diablo Immortal saiu.
So having a new character, but I've been like a whirlwind barbarian for a year now, and loving that. And so now I'm going to obviously. Well, one of the great things about Immortal is that you can class change. So I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian. I know that's not high. Thank you very much. I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian and turn it into a Blood Knight. Yes. Like, 'cause there's basically
Yes.
3 ways. We have the player who's been playing for a year, like myself. We have the new player, and we have the test driver. Right, is the way to think about that. So maybe you can go through that.
Yeah, totally. So if you're brand new to
E eles
Immortal
continuam
and you've never
falando
played
disso.
before,
Se eu soubesse, tinha
you can pick up
esperado
Blood
pra
Knight
começar
right
a
out of the
live e a hora
gate,
que
pick a
acabasse
new
Diablo
character
Immortal.
completely free, and start with the main story, complete with custom Blood Knight VO lines for all of the main quests. And for players like Rod, who have been playing for a while and want to convert to this class, I'm happy to say that we've made some major improvements to class change. Strength and intelligence will now convert properly.
I know, a huge request that a lot of people are asking for, yes.
Yes, it's going to be great.
Vai ter algumas
And
mudanças
also,
em relação à conversão de
players will be able
atributos.
to, during the event, change to the Blood Knight on a one-day cooldown and also revert back infinitely. So if you decide you don't like playing the Blood Knight, you can revert the day of, or if you want to try it again tomorrow, you can go ahead and change back to the Blood Knight.
Nice, awesome.
And lastly, I want to talk about the Crimson Plane event. So for Immortal players that are familiar with Fractured Plane, there will be a special Crimson Plane event where there'll be
So I think a lot maybe don't know what Fractured Plane, so maybe just, what's the 5-second version of what is Fractured Plane?
So Fractured Plane is basically a roguelite inside of Immortal where you're able to try out all of the skills and abilities and build towards 15 levels of defeating enemies just to try out different skills.
You basically start with a fresh class, and so you're taking your character, like I have a very specific build, very specific gear, but if I wanted to go play Fractured Planes, it says, oh, you're a barbarian, here's some random skills, see how far you can get with this, and you build up your gear
Novo
and
modo
stuff as you're playing
de
through this
babado
roguelike experience, yeah.
de jogo.
Exactly.
And so now for the Blood Knight introduction, you've created Crimson Planes, which is a version of the same experience to go and test drive all the different Blood Knight skills?
Exactly. So you'll be able to try out different skills and legendary essences without actually committing to changing to the class. So just try it out, see if you like it, and if you do, there's always class change available.
Nice.
Nice, that's awesome to hear. So we have, and we have other things like I mentioned that are coming in this actual update. I know that for any new player that's coming in, of course, they can create a Blood Knight, how we mentioned beforehand, customize it, and it's completely free. And then, of course, any existing character can do class changes if they want, or they can create a new character if they would like to do it that way as well. But I know we have like a new legendary gem that's going to be coming in this actual update as well. And then
Eu queria entender.
just other items associated with this specific patch that'll be hitting as
full set
well.
of legendaries for the Blood
Exactly.
Knight too.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be listing out every single legendary
The blog, yeah.
that is available.
Uma coisa que eu
for the
gostaria de
Blood Knight
pontuar é que a
in
criação de
our
personagem
blog
do
immediately after the
Diablo
stream.
Immortal é mais
you
bonita
guys
do
can
que
check
a
out
do
the cinematic trailer that we showed
Diablo
off
4.
for the Blood Knight earlier on that blog.
Cabelo
And of course,
no
read
Diablo
all the
4 se você não
details
tá
about
com
what's coming in
os
this update
status
that is
alto,
hitting
fica
on
horrível.
the 13th of July, so soon. It's crazy. So we do, we're super stoked. The cinematic is amazing, by the way. I just want to
Why are you,
highlight.
for people who didn't get to see it in full frame rate, you're basically rubbing their noses in it.
Essentially, I'm,
Go watch it again, please.
See it in the Blizzard Cinematics team, amazing team. That cinematic is great. Nothing like seeing blood splattered all over some stained glass. It's Diablo, so it makes perfect sense. It's great. But we are super stoked. So yeah, July 13th is when it's going to be coming out. And then, of course, again, check DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream. We'll have a blog
Vai
up
estar
there
tudo
for,
lá no
people to check out.
Diablo.com.
Yeah, congratulations.
Diablo
guys,
Immortal,
on the year. It's been a
site
amazing
deles.
year for Immortal. And I think people who maybe you tried it at launch and haven't gone back to take a look at it, basically every quarter we do major updates and really change the game. So the ability to craft set items, the ability to take your duplicate legendaries and turn that into a currency so that you can make your current legend, stronger, and the way that you do dungeons now, and the tower, the clan play, there's just so much else going on. So it's a free-to-play game. If you want to go check it out just to see all the changes, like I said,
Free to play, mas se você quiser deixar toda a sua vida, eles têm todas as formas de você gastar dinheiro. Né?
Different ways that you can approach the content, which is exciting. But hearing the fact that you fully recorded all VO for the Blood Knight for the campaign, I think it'll be exciting to go back and start over.
Yeah, it's about 2,000 lines in total. We've got a pair of really, really awesome voice actors, Abby Trott and Ben Prendergast. Absolutely killed it as the Blood Knight. It's just pure haughtiness and blood.
Vou aproveitar que eles estão falando
all
de...
the way through. They've got some interesting takes on.
Vou fazer teste aqui de pausar.
I was going to say the name of the villain.
Se eu precisar, posso pausar.
Darkwood. Some interesting perspectives there. But yeah, I don't think there's ever really been a better.
Que é a vantagem do YouTube em relação ao Twitch.
Story.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much and congratulations.
Thanks so much,
thank you.
Rod. We're stoked.
And we're going to be now switching over to D4 content. We're actually going to take like a really short break because we got to swap people in. This room is only so big. And we also need mics off of people and everything. But we're going to be swapping in
Finalmente vai
into the
começar.
D4 segment. So we'll see you here in a minute or so.
Você podia aproveitar esse minuto pra... Uf. Esse vídeo é muito lindo. É muito lindo. Eu... Vamos ver, eu espero que eles tragam... Eles não vão anunciar a classe agora pro Diablo 4, mas...
Today we fight true in His holy name. Blessed be the light.
Isso é muito lindo. É muito bem feito. Achou.
I have returned to hell for you.
And we're back.
What happened to the awkward hello? You're supposed to go, hello.
That's going to be my intro
I'm
for
technically
everything.
not back.
Wait.
Well, you are technically back. I mean, you were in other streams and other times.
Correct.
I'm not back. I'm new.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Tim is new. Tim also has the best voice in the world.
Yeah. Wow.
So
really good.
Tim is just.
Então agora a gente tá com a Nata, vamos dizer assim.
I didn't prepare for that at all.
O diretor da franquia.
We'll introduce people. We are now joined by our wonderful Diablo 4 developers. We have Tim Ismay. May I introduce you?
Hello, Tim Ismay. I'm one of the lead producers on Diablo 4, specifically focused on seasons. I say that because if you ask me questions outside of the seasons context, I have no idea what's going on.
And you said plural.
You said
Wait,
plural.
there's more than one
I-
season.
I'm
Tim?
trying to
More
build more
than
than
one
one
season.
Yeah.
There is more than one season. That's going to be.
Então o Tim é o cara das
Job
seasons.
security right there.
I'm actually just asking for it. Yeah.
Wait, we're supposed to be thinking about job security? Damn it.
And we have
Oh,
a
yeah.
familiar face.
Joey P.
Yes, I'm Joe Pipora. I'm the associate game director for the live service, and I'm excited to talk about season 1 today, at last.
But first,
But first.
Oh, but first, that's right.
because Adam has built
We can't-
everything possible
we
to talk
can't
about
start-
except the season.
right.
We
Yeah.
can never start talking about seasons until we talk about something else first. But there are cool things to actually talk about.
Correct.
eles têm alguma coisa
obviously,
pra
it's been
falar.
a little over a month since Diablo 4's launched.
It's only been a month.
Ok.
Well,
Tem
you
um
include, like,
I
early
mean,
mês de
you're right.
lançamento,
It's like
hoje faz um
I
mês,
always-
mais ou
The
menos.
amount of feedback we get about like, hey, this thing, and you're like, it's been like 5 weeks. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, give us a second.
Exactly.
So
It has been a month, a little bit more than a month, since Diablo 4 has
Wait,
actually
how did you
launched.
guys get a season done in 4 weeks? That's incredible.
We started it well before the game launched.
that's smart.
Ele tá falando que eles começaram a fazer a temporada B antes do game ser lançado.
Before the game
I don't
launched?
want to get in the weeds, everybody, but like we did start before the game launched to make sure that we could actually release
I thought you were just
something.
going to say zombies are really easy to make, and so therefore it was.
Yeah,
oh my
obviously
god.
that's what it is. Okay.
Also, people are saying that your mic is low, Mr. Joey P.
My mic
Yeah,
is low.
so I don't
Okay,
know if
I'll bring it in a little
we'll
bit.
fix that. I promise. Live broadcast, everyone.
I
Live
can.
broadcast.
O microfone dele tá baixo, assim como o meu.
He can start screaming.
Just scream at everybody.
Man, you haven't seen
So I
Joey P
interrupted. So
scream.
you,
Sorry.
you're talking
Sorry,
about the 5 week. I was just shocked by the 5 week thing, but anyway. So yes, it's been
so
5 weeks.
obviously it's been 5 weeks since we launched. We've had numerous updates to the game, hot fixes, patches. We actually had a campfire chat in between. Where we talked
Fizeram um
about,
campfire, tem o jogo lançou há um mês, tem atualização e etc.
It's 13 page, which people are like, well, that must have been like 14.5, double spaced. And I'm like, maybe it was, but it still was very big. It was like 11 pages and it went on the actual site. But we've addressed a lot of feedback and everything.
Eles estão
related to the game.
acompanhando.
We still have more feedback that we're actually going to be addressing. And I will say
Eles vão
that,
falar mais sobre isso
later this
hoje.
afternoon, there is going to be another patch, climb patch, surprise, spoilers, or announcement. We will have patch 104. That's going to be hitting all platforms later this afternoon. There will be patch notes.
Hoje vai
posted this
ter
afternoon.
um
Not
patch
as-
de
very much not
atualização.
as chunky as 103, but it does address additional
Sim,
feedback and
claro.
issues that people have been reporting over to us
you
in the
got
actual
one?
patch notes.
Então hoje vai ter um patch, hoje à
Funny enough,
tarde
I
ainda
actually
vai ter um
did
patch de atualização pro jogo.
I don't think
Para
you can
todas
say
as
that 1.04
plataformas.
is coming this afternoon and not give an example of something we're fixing in 104.
Agora o que eles não
I
estão
know that
falando
they are
ainda.
actually doing a gameplay fix in regards to, or a gameplay adjustment to Helltide chess, so that Helltide chess will now actually drop unique items.
Yeah, have the chance
Então-
to drop unique items, but yes.
Sorry.
Então eles estão aumentando. Uma das coisas
Not like a
é que vai aumentar a chance de
I'm just like,
nos Helltides quando você abre o baú de ganhar o
Okay, that
mix.
sounds stupid for me as the GM to go like, I thought we already could
Itens
drop
únicos.
uniques with Helltide Chest, so I was mistaken there.
Yeah. It's so there are some content types that the rewards are not dropping like unique items from it. So like like Whisper bounty caches, for example, don't have a chance to drop unique items when you turn in for those.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, but I think that there's opportunity.
Ele falando que, por exemplo, quando você faz a árvore dos desejos, não tem nenhuma chance de dropar itens únicos.
To continue to like try to expose this more as we talk about these things moving forward. But yeah, this is an opportunity now. We want to make sure that when players are trying to target farm for certain kinds of uniques for their builds they need to grab in order to bring those things online, that those whisper caches really can be used as a way to or not whisper caches, the tortured gifts you can get from the Helltide.
Então, o que eles entendem é que nesses eventos, nos Helltides, né, quando o mapa fica todo vermelho e tal, eles acham que é interessante, então eles estão colocando uma chance de dropar itens únicos. Não são os lendários já tem. São os itens únicos do jogo.
Those are really good opportunities to go and try to go for those.
And that's this afternoon. So once 104 goes out, once
E
you
isso vai hoje, no patch de hoje.
can drop in.
That's right.
Helltide Chest.
That's right. That's this afternoon.
Yep, and I will say, like, we've been getting, like we've mentioned, I think, many times already in this stream, we have been getting a lot of feedback related to bugs, issues, or even just, like, general gameplay feedback, and it's something that the team has been reading through and getting through.
Porque eles estão
and
lendo
those are
todos
things
os
that,
feedbacks que
obviously,
estão acontecendo.
we're addressing
De
as we get through all
bugs
these
e
different
balanceamento.
updates, in the future and everything.
We're building a big backlog. Like this is the thing. I was making the joke about they started before, like seasons started before we launched, just to try to set expectations.
Eles estão falando que eles já têm um backlog, né? Eles já têm uma lista de muita coisa que eles precisam mexer.
Because if we move too fast, we can kind of vibrate the game out of stability. And so we're trying to be as reactive as we can, but in a safe way, and knowing we have a large backlog of season 1 was already.
E ele tá falando que tem muita coisa que tá chegando, mas já tem muita coisa na fila pra mexer. Então eles estão tentando reagir de forma rápida ao que está sendo dito, mas ao mesmo tempo tem muita coisa e eles estão fazendo de uma forma que não quebre o jogo enquanto eles estão atualizando. Tipo, atualizar uma coisa e quebrar o jogo inteiro.
Well in flight, and season 2 is also very much well in flight. And so we're trying to make those adjustments. So we hear the feedback, so please don't take the lack of instantaneous responses and we don't hear you. We hear you. We hear about I want to lock
Falando
my
que
inventory.
pra gente não
We hear
pensar
you
que
about all the
talvez
different
eles não estão
things that
ouvindo
you
por não
give us
responder de
feedback
forma
on, and
imediata.
we appreciate that
Mas é porque
feedback,
eles já estão
and we're
desenvolvendo a
doing our
segunda
best to
temporada
adjust as
enquanto a
quickly and
primeira vai ser
smoothly as
lançada.
possible. So just trying to manage expectations that sometimes it might
Pra
feel,
ter
but
pouco
again,
mais,
it's only
né,
been
de
5
leveza
weeks.
aí na pegada, mas
This
não
is
por
a
tomar
game that
nossa.
we are going to, we're going to support for years to come. This is a foundation of, we said the launch was the beginning, not the end, and so we're going to be continuing to support this game through many seasons.
E aí eles vão dar suporte pro jogo durante muitos anos, e etc, etc. Porque, né, é como se eles estivessem falando assim, gente, a gente vai dar suporte por muito tempo, então vocês esperam que a gente vai fazer, uma hora a gente vai fazer.
We were obviously shooting out a lot of updates really quickly, and this is something we talked about a little bit on the campfire chat, but we are going to get into a more systematic way of being able to update the game, so it's not just going to be like ad hoc, hey guys, what a new client patch type of thing, unless there's an emergency. But yeah, people start to find a more some familiarity with how we actually update the game around seasons and client patches that may occur, whether they are in between or only on seasons and so forth. So we'll have that actually communicated out, and people then know what to expect going forward when we do have.
Eles falando que tem alguma coisa nova que eles estão fazendo internamente para melhorar essa atualização do jogo.
We've made a number of changes on the balance side. We've responded to a lot of player feedback. We've got 1.04 coming out later on this afternoon. But Adam, what do the people want to hear about?
Zombies! So we're actually now going to talk about. No, but we do want to talk about season 1. Season 1 is coming, and we actually have a really cool trailer to show off before.
Trailer da Season 1.
So, hit it, Rich and Matt.
Então, vamos ver. Trailer da Season 1. Eles falaram que vão ter uma temática em volta de cada season.
Writing to you because although a great evil is receding from Sanctuary, a new festering curse now spreads its corruption across the land. More dangerous, more malignant than I could have imagined. I have found a way to stop this plague. To rip the dark power of these monsters from their very core and turn it to our advantage in destroying them.
O cara tá falando que ele achou um jeito de
I cannot do this alone.
parar uma praga que tá acontecendo.
My strength is dwindling. The malignant
Ele precisa
are
de
relentless
ajuda.
and without mercy. I need help. I need
Diferente do ódio, né, que tá rolando e essa parte. Malignant. É tipo uma praga que vai se espalhar e você vai... Tipo uma pandemia. Essa é a
There we
temática.
have it. The first season of Diablo 4 coming out on July 20th. The season of the Malignant. Lots to talk about there. So we're actually going to jump into it. No, I'm just kidding. But obviously, a lot of people want to know what's going on. We even teased it on social media yesterday where something was corrupting Sanctuary. I guess Tim, Joe,
Okay. So
what's going on?
Ontem teve
So
teaserzinho.
season 1, the season of the Malignant. So our very, very first season in the game is going to basically take place after the events of Diablo 4. So after the redacted and the redacted have happened and the player has finished redacting the redacted, once all that's out of the way, that's when things are really going to kick off in the world of Sanctuary, kind of step off from
Então,
that.
essa...
And there is a new threat that's basically emerged in Sanctuary. There's
Tá,
this,
então uma
there's this
nova...
malignance, there's this
Assim,
corruption that's begun to
o que tá
spread,
acontecendo, né, na parte da história é assim que você termina o jogo.
That's everything from like beasts to humans, to demons themselves, everything in between. Can be corrupted by this malignance.
É uma corrupção que afeta todo mundo, desde humanos até animais, bichos e até demônios.
Right, it's turned into these bloodthirsty fiends. Effectively, they're going out and trying to destroy everything. And it's threatening Sanctuary at a very, very, very high level. The player's going to come across a new character that they're going to introduce to over the course of the season.
Vai ter novo
Cormand,
NPC.
we actually saw in the trailer there.
Que é o cara que tava
Cormand
na...
there he is. Cormand is an ex member of the Cathedral of Light. And he used to be a priest of the Cathedral of Light.
Ele era da Catedral da
He's
Luz.
taken it upon himself to start trying to dive deeper into this new malignant threat that's risen over the
E aí
course
ele buscou um jeito de
following
curar
the
isso,
Diablo
né?
4's main
Essa
campaign.
peste.
But he's finding himself maybe a little out of his depth. You say, Tim? Like, what do you think about Cormand?
Yeah, he's trying to fix the problem on his own, and then I think when he's not 100% successful, he comes to the player and says, "Hey, you were really helpful in the past. Could I get a hand from you?" So that's kind of where things start.
Yeah, he's
Ele tipo tá buscando ajuda porque ele não tá conseguindo resolver sozinho.
The room is on fire, but he's sitting there like, I can fix it. You know, we can.
Ele tava tentando fazer sozinho, mas precisa de ajuda, então ele vai recorrer aos jogadores.
The player get introduced over the course of the season, but that's really just where things kick off. You know, and players will start the season of Malignant actually in Kyovashad, and they're going to gain access to like the beginning of the story of the season.
E aí vai ter uma história para ela da season.
Like jumping out of the gate and be able to start like following the thread.
Em Kyovashad, que é a primeira região do jogo.
And we're going to talk about the transition from the current eternal
Faz
realm
sentido,
into
né?
the
Porque ele era
season
do.
afterwards. We're going to get through the season.
Ele era da Catedral da Luz.
Well, then, I know people are really curious about what happens to my current character. How do I think about that transition? But we'll get to that after we get through the season details.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So that's the kind of the high level, like what's happening in the
That's
world
the
of
theme,
Sanctuary.
right?
That's the theme.
Então esse é o tema. O tema vai ser você ajudar esse cara a parar essa praga. Que ele achou um jeito, mas ele não consegue fazer isso sozinho.
We're trying to add more stuff to seasons that appeal to everything that a player does in Diablo 4. So we are adding story, the elements of what you're going to find out about what is actually happening to Sanctuary, but then we want things that are new challenges for the player, things that you can fight that maybe you haven't fought before, as well as new powers, things that you can
Então vai ter novos
build your
poderes, mas
character
também vai ter uma
in a
nova
different
história.
way, a different direction than maybe you did in any previous season, or in this case, in the pre-season when you had just the Eternal Realm. So hitting all of those notes, we're starting with a mechanic around the threat. So what is the threat? The Malignant. We've been talking about it a lot. Where does the Malignant actually show up? That actually shows up throughout the entire game. When you're playing in the world of Sanctuary, anytime you encounter any elite monster, there's a chance that it will spawn as a malignant version of that monster. So that malignant version is going to have...
Então aqui, ó, ele tá falando que o que vai acontecer, né? Tipo, essa situação ela vai acontecer em todos os cantos do mapa, nas dungeons e tudo mais, e aí tem uma chance de que quando você encontrar um elite, ele tenha essa praga dentro dele que vai produzir um efeito específico.
After you kill it, a heart will actually appear, the exposed malignant heart that was causing this. If you then interact with that heart by using a cage of binding, it now starts a ritual where it's pulling all the malignants in and a new, even more powerful version of that elite is spawned.
Então o que ele tá falando aqui é assim, que quando você matar um elite que tem essa característica, vai ter aquele coração que apareceu aí, você vai colocar o ritual e aí vai aparecer o mesmo elite, só que muito mais forte.
Yep. Why would you want this? How does this help you? Well, if you can manage to beat that even more powerful version where you see these other minions are now helping it, these other malignant creatures, now it drops the caged heart. You've actually put all that malignant power into this cage that is an item that you can use that is kind of like a gem. It's like a gem in the sense that you can socket it into gear. It is very much not like a gem in the sense that it has an enormous amount of power. Think of a...
Então, esse coração, quando você mata a segunda versão do Elite, ele pode dropar esse coração e esse coração vai ser uma espécie de gema. Assim como a gente tem a Safira, o Rubi e tudo mais para você pôr nos itens.
Legendary item, the kind of power that's in there. It's like that, maybe even a little bit more than that. So you can take these malignant hearts.
Ele tá postando de novo, né? Tipo, como você vai summonar o Elite mais forte.
Kind of stupid new broken builds that are hopefully balanced, hopefully, but
E ele tá falando que vai ter muita força os itens. Vai dar muita força para os novos itens. Quando você implementa isso num item.
To Tim's point is we want to make sure that we're providing new ways for players to engage with Diablo 4, new problems for them to solve, new ways for them to customize their characters and kind of do new cool stuff.
Right.
E ele tá falando que eles querem...
powers associated with Malignant Hearts really allow us to do. So one of these things, so yes, you can take a Malignant Heart that you've managed to collect.
Você vai usar isso para criar builds novas e vai ser muito mais poderoso.
and you can socket them into your gear. We have 32 new, I'm not gonna say like over 30, we have 32 new malignant powers.
You know exactly.
E aí ele tá falando que tem mais 32 poderes que vão vir, que são novos poderes que vão ser concedidos através desses corações.
Technically, it's 32. So we have 32 new malignant powers are going out this way. These are new legendary power-like abilities. You can see this one here: critical strikes, electrically charged, to creatures for a certain amount of damage. So these like there's a lot of really powerful things like this that you'll be able to kind of like interact with over the course of time.
Então você vai basicamente colocar
hearts you're collecting are actually like a category. They're associated with a color. So if like brutal hearts, for example, or like have a blue color to them, and they'll only go in infested sockets you'll find on rings and jewelry during the season of the malignant.
Então os equipamentos que você encontrar, você vai criar um personagem novo para jogar. E aí você vai começar com novos equipamentos. Então esses equipamentos da temporada vão vir com sockets específicos que são para esses corações. Então você tem o socket de gema e o socket para essa malícia, não é malícia, mas seria tipo essa praga, né? Essas gemas novas.
Whatever you want to do, you're kind of looking for specific socket colors.
Or if you're getting a unique ring from the new Helltide chest rewards as you're playing from the one.
That's right. If you happen to luck out and get Mother's Embrace because you need another Mother's Embrace, then like, yes, you can absolutely.
One will never do. But what's interesting, like with so there's 3 different types of color sockets, yes?
There's 3 different types of colored sockets, but there's 4 different types of malignant hearts.
Yes. Go on.
Well, okay, I guess I will. So the last malignant heart type is called basically a raffle. It's an extremely powerful malignant heart type. They're very, very rare to find. They will fit in any colored socket as you go.
Tem 3 tipos de cores
kind of want a combination of all of these.
de corações,
the raffles are pretty strong,
mas tem um quarto coração que ele vai em qualquer tipo de socket.
So it's fun, like really want to be able to experiment with, again, creating these different problems for players to solve, different ways for players to engage with things, and really change up that experience by virtue of adding these new powers. They're going to unlock different builds potentially for classes, to Tim's point, and just basically be like a really fun, exciting new way for players to kind of inject new power in the experience.
But you're looking for so can the jeweler, when the jeweler right now can add a socket to, a piece of jewelry?
Yeah.
Are they able to add colored sockets, or are those only
found? So you can't
found?
choose the color, but anytime a ring would roll with a socket when the season of malignant starts, it's always going to have a color associated with it. There's not like, you couldn't get like just a regular jewel socket.
But even a jeweler created one? Like if I have a ring with no socket when I do the
Então vai ter
jeweler,
3 e você pode...
It'll always be an infested socket in this way.
Got it.
Yeah.
But that's true for unique. So if I'm looking
Se você
for
você tentar trocar, você troca a cor.
I have a unique ring, like you talked about, but I want the blue version. I could find a unique with the red socket, and I could find it with a yellow socket. So I'm looking for a blue. So there'll be multiple versions of the uniques as well, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Então o que vai acontecer se você achar um item único que tem um socket azul e você quer o vermelho. Então além do socket normal que pode ou não vir nesse item único, você ainda tem essas 3 cores diferentes.
New stuff to look forward to, and that's just, we showed in the video earlier, like the player fighting a malignant creature. There's a chance for, as Tim pointed out, like there's a chance for all kinds of elites out there in the world to be malignant in nature, which makes them a little bit more powerful. But then when you kill them and you go and you actually use the Cage of Binding to capture their heart, then you fight that super consume the consume version. It's like that's gonna be like buffing nearby monsters. It spawns a bigger combat in that scene. There's more to look forward to, and those get tougher and tougher. And you want to fight higher and higher level versions of those in higher world tiers to get even better versions of those hearts.
Yeah, so you can get stronger versions of the hearts as you get further into the game, and you might be thinking like, okay, does that mean like the old, like the crappy hearts that I got earlier, are those useless? You can actually break those down at the crafter as well to get a crafting material out of them that allows you to craft new items.
Você vai poder também fazer como os itens, você vai dar salvage, né? Você desmonta eles para pegar material, você também vai poder fazer isso com os corações. E eles também vão escalar conforme você vai subindo de nível e vai aumentando o seu gear, eles também vão escalando. Então você pega corações mais e mais fortes.
Including invokers. So invokers are something that you can use a little bit further on. Once you finish the campaign of Season 1, you will unlock the ability to go and use these at a specific place called a malignant tunnel. So if you are
By the way,
trying to...
that's also the name of my colonoscopy.
Okay.
There we go.
E aí vai ter, pelo que eu vou ter uma
It's a
mini
serious thing to go
campanha
through, 'cause
dentro
it's-
da
it's-
temporada,
That's a good point. So if you
contando
have
a história de
Malignant
tudo que tá
Tunnel, you should get
acontecendo.
yourself checked out.
So in the world of Sanctuary, when we say Malignant Tunnel, we mean, hey, I'm a player and I actually want to get more of these hearts, but it's just a random chance on elites out in the world. Where can I intentionally find more of them? There are these malignant tunnels. So there are actually places across the world where the malignance is manifesting in these new dungeons. So if you specifically want to go find more malignant hearts, you can hunt down these tunnels.
Yep.
You can go in and, hey, there are more malignant there. So there's a higher chance of finding malignant monsters there. And if you want to guarantee it, man, I really need...
Então, uma coisa que ele tá comentando aqui é que você vai ter chance nos elites de encontrar essa malinha, né, que eles estão chamando, que é quase o personagem do Elden Ring. Mas vai ter dungeons no jogo que são específicas desse formato, e aí essas dungeons vão conter tipo muito mais elites e com certeza vão estar infectados. E aí vai ter mais chances de você dropar tudo o que você precisa.
Very specific type of religious heart. How do I make that even more likely? That's when you take your crafted invoker, you go all the way to the end of a malignant tunnel, and you can use it on a malignant outgrowth. When you use it on that outgrowth, it now spawns that specific type of malignant that's going to have the color associated with it of the heart you're trying to find. You kill that and you're going to get the specific heart. So there's a little bit more targeted farming you can do as you approach the end.
Eu falando que com esse processo das dungeons, o túnel maligna que ele falou, você vai conseguir os itens mais facilmente específicos da cor que você quer.
Called the turkey baster from hell, basically, is what an invoker looks like.
It does kind of, yes. I don't.
Essa é
wasn't the,
uma...
like, art direction on it, but yeah, that's.
Então você tem esse Brutal e o outro do lado esquerdo é uma outra cor desse coração que é a chave aí das gemas. E aí você escolhe.
Masses of malignants that you're able to go and interact with, and each of the tunnels has a few different ones that can potentially spawn different colors of malignant outgrowths that can spawn from those. So it gives you those opportunities to go and like really target farm, as Tim's pointed out, like certain kinds of malignant hearts as the player is progressing through the experience.
Então a ideia é que você consiga farmar o que você quer, né? Qual cor de coração você quer. Pelo que eu vi ali, Brutal, acho que é...
basically there's a growth, you get to the end of the tunnel, you're able to basically, essentially requesting a monster of a particular...
Eu imagino que, por exemplo, Brutal vai de encontro com a habilidade do Bárbaro, né? Se eu não me engano. Acho que é do Bárbaro mesmo, que tem esse golpe brutal, que é uma característica do Bárbaro. Então eu imagino que, dependendo da classe, você vai direcionar justamente por conta disso.
Color, yes? You're saying like, I want a blue heart, a chance to get a blue heart by trying to defeat the blue monster, yes?
That's right, and some of these, are, like particularly later on in the experience, like the most powerful hearts you can get are going to be delivered from things like these invoker encounters that we go and interact with. So yeah, something we're very excited about.
So basically, they use an invoker on one of the pods?
That's right, yeah, the outgrowths from this malignant mass.
Which then creates a blue monster for you to fight.
Ele tá repetindo o que eles
So does this one go through the same mechanic where I have to kill it, try to capture heart to kill the harder thing?
Yeah, when this thing pops up, after you kill this one, you don't actually have to capture it. You're fighting the powerful version of it like immediately.
That's what I was asking, so you don't have to do the 1-2.
That's right.
So that's nice. So it's kind of a little like the sigil crafting, where you basically, I've got a bunch of stuff I'm not using right now. I can craft it down so that I can focus what malignant hearts I want. Because maybe my build, I know I want a brutal heart, but I haven't running into any blue malignants out there in the world. So now I can go into a malignant tunnel, fight my way to the end, have an opportunity to use the invoker to create a blue malignant to go after its heart. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Roger's called it all.
And I know.
Então uma coisa que ele estava falando é que eles querem possibilitar essa mecânica de eu quero focar naquilo que é melhor para minha build, então eles estão dando essa oportunidade. Com esses túneis onde você consegue saber qual cor que vai estar disponível.
And I know, like, obviously with the story and so forth, there are like new boss and so forth associated with it.
We're not really talking about
we're not redacted, but yes.
It's worth calling out, yeah.
Tem novos bosses.
Players to fight over the course of the season. There are new legendary items for players to collect.
Novos lendários.
There's our legendary powers, I should say. For players
Novos
to collect.
lendários.
Items for players to collect.
Now, those
Novos
unique
uniques,
legendaries and
novos
the
legendários.
uniques.
Yeah, you
Thanks
go.
for that. Those are not just in the seasonal realm, though, right? Are those things that are also showing up in the Eternal?
That's right. Those will also show up in the Eternal Realm. So
Exactly.
yeah, if you're a player who's like really trying to continue to progress your character in the Eternal Realm, there's now a few new items for you to go try to hunt for and use to kind of augment and change your build.
This is the moment where I can do the producer thing.
Okay, yeah.
So
please.
you probably saw before on the screen when we looked at the cinematic was awesome, and we said July 20th. Oh my God, there it is, the day it's coming out. We are actually putting out the patch a little bit earlier. So just for awareness, so everyone knows, you're gonna see your game patching on July 18th. That is all of the stuff coming.
Tá falando que a season começa em dia 20 de julho. Mas provavelmente a gente vai receber o patch no dia 18, 19.
You that is going to turn on July 20th.
Balance changes, the new items.
Yeah. So July 18th is actually anything that shows up on the Eternal Realm is there right away. If you just want to continue playing the game as normal on your existing characters.
E o que tiver de novos itens únicos e poderes lendários, quem quiser continuar o mesmo personagem que já estava utilizando, né, no Eternal Realm, vai poder continuar com os novos itens, os novos poderes lendários. E aí, dia 20, começa a temporada. E aí você pode criar o personagem e embarcar na jornada.
Trying to be really clear about it with seasons is that it is not a continuation of the main campaign storyline. Like we've been trying to use phrases like it's a new quest line. Working with Corman to solve the malignant is a big, is obviously the journey you're on.
O que ele tá falando é que
about the Anarius Lilith journey. It's not extending that story. It's sort of a side story.
O que ele tá falando aqui é que as seasons, elas não vão continuar a campanha principal. Então não vai ser sobre a Lilith, nada disso. São histórias paralelas, como se fossem side quests, mas só que maiores, né? Então elas não vão fazer parte da campanha principal, elas são uma extensão da campanha para os lados, né? São histórias paralelas que estão acontecendo no mundo.
It just takes place after the events of Diablo 4. But you're absolutely right. This is a new self-contained story within the season of the Malignant, which is great because it just gives us it forces a lot of opportunities to tell an exciting story and to create like these new big features to kind of go along with that and support it.
So as I'm playing through that now, it would be amazing if there was some way to sort of track my accomplishments through the season. I don't know, maybe some sort of journey perhaps
so you want to track your seasonal journey through some kind of feature.
I don't know if I could tee that up any higher for you.
We
went from golf to
golf to T-ball really fast.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is obviously with season 1 where we're going to bring out the season journey feature, which I know we talked a little bit about on stream before, but I guess it's worth maybe calling out and maybe a little bit more clarity.
Hey, look, it's this, but without redacted all over it now.
That's right.
Yeah.
So this is
top secret.
Yeah. So this is the battle pass.
Esse é o passo de batalha.
And then going into here, you'll see the season journey, and again, so the season journey is separated into 7 chapters.
São 7 capítulos.
And each of those chapters has a number of objectives inside.
E aí cada um dos 7 capítulos tem vários objetivos internos.
You have to do a subset of them in order to advance to the next chapter. I think it's really cool. So like objective to objective, you're going to be earning favor drops, which can be used to fuel your battle pass, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. Yeah. But you're also, for your chapter completion moments, you're getting big drops of that favor that's going to be used like an experience point value.
Então, cada uma desses 7 capítulos tem várias quests dentro. Você não precisa completar 100% para avançar. Porém, se você completar o 100% de cada capítulo, você ganha coisas melhores.
Your battle pass, but you're also going to be getting some like item rewards, and importantly, you're going to be unlocking new legendary aspects, ones that you can't normally get through the Codex of Power, through like dungeon completion, and also many of our new legendary aspects we're adding in the season. If you're playing in the seasonal realm, you can collect that for your Codex of Power by going to the season journey.
Tá, e aí esses novos poderes que ele tá mostrando aqui, né, embaixo, são novos poderes lendários que vão desbloquear para todos os personagens se você participar da
temporada. Great way for you to
temporada.
introduce yourself to some of these new things as you're kind of playing through.
Yeah, I love this. Like one of the things that's hard about for people who know Diablo 3 and its sort of journey.
Hold on, wait. Do you love this?
I love this.
Oh, that actually feels really good to hear.
I love this. The notion around like I like the fact that this
Gente, se alguém souber como é que tira esse efeito do YouTube, eu agradeço, porque eu tô detestando isso aqui. E eu não sei se tem como tirar. Não. Então aqui em cima são os capítulos, né? Aqui tá desbloqueado até o 4. E aí 5, 6 e 7. E aí dentro desses capítulos você vai ter as missões, completando... dentro dos capítulos tem as missões, você completando os capítulos você tem um número X de rewards, de prêmios. Então assim, quanto mais você completar, mais você vai ganhar, com um mínimo X para você passar para o próximo.
subset aspect of it.
Você tem um mínimo para você continuar, mas você tem prêmios maiores se você fazer tudo.
The fact that I can advance chapter 1 to go to chapter 2 without ever doing what lurks below, I think that's great, because that's like, I find you get into situations. I have other games where they're like, you must do this thing that you really don't want to do in order to progress, and the fact that I don't have to do that here, that I can choose a subset of things to continue my progress, I think is really smart.
Yeah, I think it's really good to hear. It's one of the things we really want to do is make sure that like the base example of this is like we really like letting players use our fields of hatred as opportunities to kind of like progress their characters inside of the season, but we don't, and we want to include that,
which is
in
the
season
PvP
journey,
fields,
which is the PvP content in the game. But we don't want to make that like a requirement that you must go do this content in order to progress your season journey. We want to give players the option.
Por exemplo, se você quiser fazer PVP para progredir, você pode. Mas não é obrigatório, você pode fazer PvE ou PvP e os dois vão te dar bônus para você completar o que você precisa.
You click on the season journey button. Do I have to buy the battle pass to get this? No. Everyone has access to the season journey. This is a base feature that everybody is engaging with. Actually, everybody has access to the battle pass too. You're engaging with, even if you never pay a cent, you are engaging with the battle pass. You're getting free stuff.
E é diferente do... Mesmo que você não compre o passe de batalha, você tem acesso à temporada, a todo o processo da temporada. É diferente uma coisa da outra. A temporada não tem a ver com quem comprou o passe de batalha.
Rod has always reminded me, in the seasonal realm, this stuff exists. There is no season journey if you're not in the season. That's very important. It only exists there. There's no battle pass if you're not in the season.
Right. Yeah,
o passe de batalha é só para quem quem criar o personagem na season 1.
Those final chapters are really tough to complete. You can get some like special like cosmetics, like special like title and things at the towards the end of that path. So we're excited to see players like engage with it and for us to continue to support it in future seasons.
And so we saw that the season journey grants you a lot of favor to go towards your battle pass, but you also earn favor just out in the world killing stuff. And
that's right. Anything that's like killing monsters, completing like whispers and dungeons and things like all of these things.
Conforme você completando vários tipos, se você completar dungeon, se você fizer a árvore dos desejos, tudo isso vai te ajudar a evoluir durante a jornada, a jornada da temporada.
That favor as well.
So if you have never played the campaign yet, like you're about to buy the game for the first time with the season, for example,
right?
I'll be like, okay, I'm going to roll a seasonal character. I'm going to play the campaign. The fact that while I'm playing the campaign, I'm killing stuff and I'm still earning favor. Like this stuff is still sort of progressing in the background, right?
That's absolutely correct.
I just won't run into any malignant until I finish the campaign.
That's absolutely right. But you will, as you play, if you make a new character, to your point, Rod, on the seasonal realm, and you're playing through the campaign, you will be earning favor as you're killing monsters and doing things during the campaign.
Então, se você comprou o jogo, se você comprou o jogo e você ainda vai comprar o jogo no lançamento da primeira temporada, conforme você for fazendo a campanha, né, porque você ainda não vai ter feito, você vai continuar ganhando pontos para desbloquear a jornada.
Those objectives might require you to go and interact with season features that aren't available until after you finish the events of the Diablo 4 main campaign.
And that's probably one of the
então tem coisas que você vai poder fazer só depois de terminar a campanha, mas no geral você vai conseguir evoluir a season mesmo se você não tiver terminado a campanha. Mas o personagem tem que ser criado dentro da season.
That stuff all takes place post-campaign.
That's correct.
And so if you haven't beat the campaign yet, you're not going to run into these seasonal mechanics.
Yeah, you won't fight malignant creatures, for example, while you're going through the campaign on the seasonal realm.
E aí, enquanto você estiver fazendo a campanha, você não vai encontrar criaturas da season.
I would say, like, you know, one of the things you can do to get ready for the season is to make sure you finish your campaign playthrough. Diablo 4, jump in, you can choose to skip campaign when you make your new seasonal character, and dive
E aí ele
right
tá
into
falando
the
aqui
seasonal
de
story and content.
terminar,
And that's forevermore. That's
se
one
você
thing
quiser
we're trying to
otimizar,
say is that
terminar
once
a
you complete the
campanha
campaign
antes do
on
dia 20 de
one
julho,
character on your
Yeah, one
account,
character, one
for every
time.
para
season
você
moving forward, for
entrar
any character
diretamente,
you
pular a
create
campanha
moving
no novo
forward, you
personagem e
can
entrar
skip the
direto
campaign and
na,
start off in Kyovashad level 1.
na Season 1.
And, you know,
Not always Kyovashad, but yes.
Is that the
Foreshadowing.
only thing that we can be doing to prepare
well,
for
we should
season
get to
one?
Let's get to the-
we should get to the battle pass. So the favor, so you have favor flowing because you're playing the game.
Because you're playing the game, because you're doing your season journey objectives, you're getting
And
even more
I was
of
going to
it.
say you're getting more, and the favor is really flowing because I'm completing the season journey objectives. And so that favor is feeding into your progress on the battle pass, whether you've chosen to just have the free battle pass or whether you've chosen to upgrade it to a premium battle pass, correct?
That's absolutely correct.
So can we go back to the screen? Because I think it's one of the
Tem dois Battle Passes, o gratuito e o Premium, né? E aí, conforme você vai fazendo todo tipo de atividade, os favores vão sendo concedidos para você evoluir, tanto na Season quanto
battle
no...
passes. You could look like this.
Yeah.
And by completing the battle pass in terms of the mount armor, the armor that the characters are wearing. And so... Did you want to talk a
Então, a
little bit about
montaria...
Yeah,
essa,
so
faz,
the-
aí,
so one of the things that's really cool about
Os
a lot of items
cosméticos.
in the battle pass, there are these really exciting like armors to chase for the characters. There are like fun new emotes to go chase for different classes, and we have even things like the like what we're showing off here, like the Artisan's tunic. We have some things that are like these. And this is actually one of our.
e aí dá pra ver aqui embaixo, né? Que ele tem um modelo da a mesma blusa, só que é um modelo diferente para cada classe.
Our free cosmetics actually is this. The things are like a little bit lower fantasy that we can use to kind of like roleplay different kind of themes out for your characters, just give you more options. And we have like our bigger stuff like this, like this is like the Awoken Cold Iron stuff is like some of like the like real chase armor cosmetics that exist at the end of the battle pass.
It's one of the things that, like, if you notice either the role-playing armor, like the artisan tunic or the helmet, is that one of the big things about the battle pass is that unlike the shop, the battle pass, all of the cosmetics are class agnostic. So we have a preview for all 5 classes, so you can see what it looks like on a barbarian, what it looks like on a druid, what it looks like on a.
Então, você está falando que eu acabei de comentar de que cada cosmético vai para todas as classes, né? Você não é um cosmético que você, um capacete que você vai usar só no bárbaro ou só no necromante. Não, você vai ganhar um capacete que vai ser utilizável por todas as classes.
And that's one of the nice things about the battle pass is everything you're earning on the battle pass, class agnostic.
Yeah, for those transmogs.
The exception is the transmog weapons. There are transmog weapons on there that are class specific, just because classes
can only use
certain
As armas não.
So if your class can equip that
As
weapon,
armas,
you have
diferente
access to it.
das
But
armaduras,
just to
são
reinforce
classe
the things we've already
específico por
expressed,
classe.
There are
Mas
lots
porque
of free things on the battle pass. If you pay to upgrade it to the premium battle pass, what you're getting access to are a bunch of additional cosmetic things.
Yeah.
So the only thing you're getting access to by paying is that additional cosmetic unlock. So there's really, really cool stuff, some on the early end and then especially on the tail end of it, that's what you're buying into. But the free version...
Você tem coisas na parte free, mas você vê também coisas na parte premium. Como todos os outros jogos.
Well, you wanted to talk more about blessings, right?
Well, that's what
O que eles estão falando aqui é que é só cosmético, não tem pay to free.
Free tiers in the battle pass, and part of those 27 free tiers are smoldering ashes that you can get based on the level you are in the game and that you've progressed with favor. And what do those smoldering ashes get you?
So these smoldering ashes the player will collect in the battle pass are, as you called out, like they're on the free track of the battle pass. You need to be you have a character of a certain level in order to be able to actually use them. So they're kind of like they're rate limited that way. We'll take those and you'll be able to use those and apply them to the seasonal blessings system.
Tá, e aí você esses smoldering ashes, todas as pessoas vão ganhar mesmo no free, na parte free do Battle Pass. E aí eles estão explicando para que vai servir. Então, pelo que eu tô entendendo aqui, são desejos, são bênçãos que você vai colocar, esses pontos, essas ashes, e aí você vai ganhando bônus em relação a isso. Quase cortei.
Here, okay, we can actually finally reveal all of these. So here are the places where, as the players collecting these ashes, they can invest them here to give all of their characters on the seasonal realm kind of like this advantage able to carry through. So whether that is like bonus to like XP.
Então, só que para você usar a primeira vez você precisa ter um nível mínimo. No caso ali é 40, nível 40, aí você pode
I'm
utilizar.
assuming- I don't know if it's linear or not, but if I would assume it was linear, I can do it 4 times at 15%, so like 60% duration on elixirs, in terms
Então,
of
por exemplo,
that
aqui
particular
é
earn
bônus
for
de
long.
XP
That's right.
quando
Yeah,
mata,
we wanna make
mata
this
monstros.
an extra little follow-up
Aumenta
for players to change as they
o
go
valor
through the season,
de dinheiro que você
help them,
ganha e assim por diante.
boost their characters a little bit more quickly as they kind of get deeper and deeper into progression into the season, and give them a few different advantages to play with while they're playing through.
So if I were to max out with my Smoldering Ashes, they're like earn a prolonging is where I want to invest my Smoldering Ashes. I can basically take my 30-minute elixir and make it almost a 50-minute elixir. So getting that 5% XP boost. Maybe for me, it's
dando
the extra
exemplos.
200 thorns and the 200
Por exemplo,
armor.
você pode aumentar o tempo que dura
Yeah,
os
you can,
elixirs.
get more opportunities to earn like the or better malignant heart drops that can occur for you as you're playing.
And these are available to everyone because
Yes.
who's
Yeah.
in the seasonal realm because it's part of the free track.
Yes.
And they are limited based on. They're also limited based on level of the player, so that even if someone were to use tier skips, even though they might get to the tier that says free
You unlock the
Smoldering
ash.
Ashes.
Então, para as pessoas que também compraram o Battle Pass Premium, que tem 20 níveis avançados, eles não vão ganhar antes, porque para você começar a usar esse recurso, você tem limite de nível. Se eu e uma pessoa que comprou o Diablo, eu não comprei o passe aprimorado, acelerado, né, com 20 tiers. E a pessoa que comprou, se a gente tiver no mesmo nível, a gente vai ter o mesmo número de ashes para usar de bônus.
It doesn't actually unlock until you get to the level requirement.
Yeah, for example, like the first ash that you unlock in the battle pass is I think it's tier 8 maybe.
Tier 8,
yeah. And it has a level 40 character requirement as an example. Just to make it really, really clear. Like,
Então, primeiro, tipo, primeira vez que você vai conseguir utilizar vai ser nível, em torno do nível 40 do personagem. Então não é algo pro início da temporada.
I can kind of do my little summary thing. So basically, what we said, so we have a seasonal theme of the Malignant, which has the mechanic of capturing Malignant hearts and putting it into jewelry. We use that to complete.
Ele tava fazendo resumo de tudo que ele já
journey
falou.
is rewarding us favor. Our favor, we're then putting into the battle pass to get really cool cosmetics and transmogs, but also based on our level and our tier in the battle pass, we'll get Smoldering Ashes. We can use those Smoldering Ashes to apply a Season's Blessing, which allows us to use those urns and get sort of perks for during just
Tá
the
resumindo
season
tudo
that
que eles
we're
falaram
running.
até agora, né?
So the free person's experience, if you never want to pay a cent, you are still getting a lot of power out of the season journey and the free aspect, the free.
E ele tá
battle pass. So this is
esclarecendo
kind
que
of an
as pessoas
increase
que não
in power for
compraram
everybody. And then if you want to spend money, just reinforcing that,
passe de
that's
batalha,
unlocking more
não vão
cosmetics.
ficar para
And don't get me
trás.
wrong, like they're amazing cosmetics. I am planning to pay to unlock them myself, but there's no power that comes from them. They are transmogs. They are not actual items. It's just a transmog you can place on your armor to look cool.
E ele
They
está
don't
reforçando
actually
de
cause
que
things to light on fire.
as skins não são itens, são skins, né? Não vão dar poder para as pessoas.
Itself,
Puramente
if
cosmético.
you do pay for a battle pass, all the paid items are going to be cosmetics, and for you, it's no pay for power.
And if you bought the deluxe or the ultimate edition, you already will have an ability to make that a premium battle pass. It still doesn't. So that's great for them. So then let's talk a little bit about the transitional side of it in terms of how I go into this or what happens. So there's a couple of different things. There's like one is like there's a need. So there's a question. I guess we should talk about renown. Like one of the big things that we hear the most about.
E ele comentou
is,
que as pessoas que
hey, I spent
compraram
a
a
lot of
versão
time,
premium
and I did too. I completed all
já
of my
tá
renown
incluso.
objectives. I've got full
Deluxe
everything.
premium.
And now I hear, I have to reroll my character in season. Do I have to go find all the altars of Lilith? Do I have to go all clear the fog of war?
E aí ele tá falando.
So I know we've talked about this in stream.
Ele vai falar sobre renome, como que vai
So
funcionar
like
na.
when season 1 goes live, players are going to be able to go basically carry over like all of the fog of war that they've cleared. So everything, all the world they've explored on their characters in each of the zones, like in the Fractured Peaks and Scotsland and such. All of that's going to carry over, as well as all of the renown you have earned from all of that, all of the
So
exploration.
can we
that
bring
you've
up
done.
the screen? So basically where we see areas discovered.
Yeah.
Let's say I've actually...
Aqui ele tá falando que o que vai acontecer, né? Quando você criar um personagem de temporada, você vai carregar o que você vai carregar daquilo que você já descobriu no jogo base.
Okay, we'll say this is this person.
Então,
So right now they've got 30 areas discovered.
Eles
which is worth
colocaram essa tela de
150
exemplo.
now. So what's going to happen is in the season, I'm going to have 30 areas cleared inside of Kyrgyzstan, and I will have 150 renown already in the bank. and it will have unlocked whatever 150 renown will have unlocked.
Absolutely right. Yep, absolutely right. So you're gonna have that, and you're also gonna have already collected all of your altars of load that you've got from your.
Nossa, peraí. Tem um carro de som lá fora. Então, o que ele tá falando aqui é que tudo que você completou de renown, né, de renome, você vai manter para o personagem da temporada. Então você não vai perder aquilo que você já olhou no mapa, os altares de Lilith, as dungeons que você as side quests, não, side quests acho que volta. Mas os bônus que você ganha por completar as regiões já vão estar lá também.
So the same thing here. So I will have 12.
Nossa, gente, peraí que tem um carro de som lá fora. Eu vou tomar uma água enquanto o carro não vem, enquanto o carro para. Porque esse carro vai ficar aqui, ó. Vocês com certeza estão ouvindo porque eu tô ouvindo aqui no microfone. Tá? 1 minuto. Já volto. Voltei. O carro de som passou, gente. Podemos continuar. Ainda bem que eu tô pelo YouTube que dá pra pausar.
Be appearing on my map immediately, and I will have
Então,
120
voltando.
renown in the bank with my other 100. So I'll have 270 renown already earned.
Tudo que
waiting for
você
me to
fez de
claim.
renome vai ser mantido.
That's absolutely correct. So these are the advantages you get to start with, and like if you look
Então,
at like all the renown you can collect from discovering all
Se
the
você
areas, from getting all of your
fez todo o renome antes, você vai ter uma vantagem, você vai
zones.
ganhar os
Basically,
pontos.
Through the first 2 tiers, a little with the way through the 3rd tier
Right.
for each of the zones for renown. So you get to start with, like, if you start at level 1 on day 1 of the new season with a brand new character, you'll start, and you've done all of this work with your previous characters and previous playthroughs. You'll have 5 skill points to play with, and then 5 extra potion charges. So you'll be sitting at 9 potion charges.
At level
right away.
1, you'll have
Yeah.
5 skill points and 9 potions ready to go.
Absolutely.
Então,
You claim those
as
things down,
poções,
you're good to go
os
for the
pontos de
season.
skill, você ganha tudo.
And your map.
And your map we've
So
built.
that, so
E o
that
mapa
goes back
aberto.
to what Tim was teeing up earlier. When we think about, hey, I'm excited about the season.
Você não vai ter que reabrir o mapa inteiro.
What is it? It's the 6th today?
Today's the 6th.
Okay,
Yes.
so I have 14 days.
14
I have
days.
2 weeks. What should I be doing in these
Daqui
next
2
2
semanas.
weeks? And so one was, I better get the campaign done because I really want to.
E aí ele tá dando a dica, né? Dá
If you
a
have places to
fazer
go to,
a
like dig deep on clearing the fog.
a
and dig deep on
campanha e
finding
aí
altars,
também
because
fazer.
Those are going to carry into the season.
Yeah, all of that stuff will carry over with you.
Então, tudo que você completou depois da campanha,
How do I
além
think
da
about-
campanha, vai ser
I've
carregado.
got 5, 6 alts, my characters right now in the Eternal Realm. We're talking about carrying over progress based on your. How do I ensure that the progress, like the most progress character, it actually impacts my seasonal character? Like,
Yeah, Tim, tell
could
us.
Yeah, it's a great question. For various technical implementation reasons, we do actually need you to log in on existing characters to kind of self-migrate some of your data with this. So this is something that we implemented based on player feedback that we got. So we put it in as quickly as we could. It is in for season 1. But what we need you to do,
híbrido.
once season 1 comes out, actually once the patch comes out, you don't even have to wait until July 20th. You can do this on July 18th, which is when the patch goes live. You should log in with characters that have the most progress. If you have a single character you played, or if you have one character that, hey, on this one character I unlocked all the altars and cleared all the fog of war, awesome. You just have to log in with that person. When you log in with that character, all of that progress is going to be propagated across your entire account. It'll be saved as, hey, this is just unlocked for your whole account now. At that point, any character you log on, either one of your existing alts or any new character you make in seasons will now have all of that progress. So you have to do it once, but after you've done that, it is now saved to your account. And just to reinforce, the experience you're going to have if you have unlocked all of these things, it takes a little bit of work, but if you've unlocked all of that, when you start that new seasonal character, wow, is that a lot of power. You are going to level pretty fast.
Então, o que ele está explicando aqui é o seguinte: o patch vai sair dia 18. Você vai baixar o patch. E conforme você baixa o patch, vai estar lá todo o conteúdo. No dia 20, para logar e você ter todo esse. Entre o dia 18 e o dia 20, para você ter todo esse progresso, você precisa pelo menos logar uma vez e acessar o seu personagem que você já tem. Então você vai precisar fazer isso uma vez, meio estranho, né? Vou ter que fazer isso, mas enfim, é o que ele está explicando aqui. Que para carregar tudo isso você precisa pelo menos logar no jogo entre o dia 18 e o dia 20 e acessar um dos seus personagens que tenha tudo desbloqueado. No caso, qualquer um que, né, você já tenha feito a campanha e tudo mais, para ir carregar todo esse progresso para o novo personagem da temporada. Que são os pontos de habilidade extras, as poções extras e o mapa e etc.
Because extra 5 skill points, extra 5 potions, you are ridiculously overpowered when you first start playing. Like, that is a lot of extra power.
E aí que você vai ficar muito mais forte também por conta
Because
disso.
that is a big caveat. Like, we will be reminding everyone. I'm going to be like literally screaming from the rooftops. I know we will be posting it in our patch notes on that come out for the patch on the 18th, just to remind people that yes, log into your characters beforehand. Even if you log in, like if you jump into the season later on, you can log into those characters with the most amount of progress.
Well,
and so forth.
that's the two things we should. Because it'll probably be
Então,
questions.
o
One is,
personagem que tem
I
mais
don't do that.
progresso.
Whatever. I go on vacation. I'm not playing. I come back. The season started. I can still log in my Eternal Realm character and have all that progress brought to the season. Yes.
Yes.
Even after the season started. So it's not like, oh, you only have 18 to 20 to get it those 2 days.
It's there for everyone.
Tá, o que ele está explicando aqui é que você não é obrigado a fazer entre o dia 18 e o dia 20. Mas quando você for criar o seu personagem de temporada, é só você anteriormente logar no seu personagem, que tem o maior com tudo descoberto e tudo bonitinho, campanha feita e tudo mais, que isso automaticamente vai atualizar. Então não precisa ser entre o dia 18 e o dia 20, ele também que dando uma corrigida.
From this point forward, anytime you ever log in on a character, it will just check like, hey, does this character have any progress that's not already credited on your account? Cool, I'm now crediting it to your account.
Right. And so and that's for the seasonal. So if I think about the Eternal Realm, like for example, my Necromancer has everything. I've got the full bar on renown on all 5. Not humble bragging. That's a point of fact.
Humble bragging.
Not humble
Humble
bragging.
So for the next 5 minutes, we're gonna talk about this.
Explicando que o necromante dele tem tudo aberto.
But all I'm saying is I have a Sork that has not had the same level of progress in the world. So after the 18th, when I log in my Necro and all that progress gets put to my account, when I go to log in my Sork next, even on the Eternal Realm, my Sork will now have all the progress that my Necro
Correct.
has.
Absolutely. That's exactly right.
Tá, uma coisa que ele tá explicando também, que ele tá explicando melhor aqui. Por exemplo, se você loga com um personagem hoje, um personagem que não... você já fez a campanha, mas você tem um segundo personagem, esse personagem não tá carregando todo o mapa que aparece pro personagem anterior. E aí, a partir do dia 18, se você fizer isso, vai aparecer. Então, se você abriu todo o mapa com o seu primeiro personagem e você cria um novo personagem atualmente, o mapa ainda está fechado, você tem só alguns pontos. A partir do dia 18, com a atualização do jogo, isso vai ser passado para todos os outros personagens da Season e também dos que são do Reino Eterno, né? Que são os personagens da pré-Season, que até dia 20.
Just to dive really deep into this. So let's say that you've got,
I know,
you've got 2 different
we should do
characters.
some sort of dev stream where we can talk and go deep.
That's true, actually, yeah. So let's say you've got like 2 characters you play. Like one has done everything in the Fractured Peaks, has uncovered everything in the Fractured Peaks, and has uncovered like all the altars level both. You get another character who's gotten everything in Scott's Glen, who's unlocked like all the field, has found all the altars level. If I log in on my Fractured Peaks character, and just by doing that, all of that credit will now be transferred to my Scott's Glen character. When I log into my Scott's Glen character, all of that credit will be applied to my Fractured Peaks characters. At that point, all of the credit of the progress I made on either of those characters has been propagated to the entirety of my account.
Right. So it becomes an and.
It's not just like it's and. It's not like the one account that has the most stuff and then I want to log into that one. No, you want to log into every account that might have like tons of progress that they've made in different directions. Right.
And I think to just again, hey, let's talk about.
Aqui ele tá dando um exemplo de que se você tem 3 personagens diferentes e cada um desses personagens completou tudo de uma área específica, diferente dos outros, se você logar nos 3, ele vai ampliar para todos. Se você tem um personagem que fez tudo, você não precisa logar nos outros, porque já vai abrir para todas as contas. Mas se você tem um personagem que fez metade de cima e outro personagem que fez a metade de baixo, se você logar nos 2, eles vão transferir esses dados de um para o outro.
Managing expectations. Some of you might be saying like, wow, that sounds a little clunky. And I think the point that Tim was trying to make was, hey, prior to season 1, we had actually talked about that you wouldn't have any renown progress carryover. You would have to go find the altars of Lilith. You would have to go clear the fog of war.
E aí ele tá falando aqui,
when launching the game or prior to launching the game, the original plan that there was no transition of state from Eternal Realm to Seasonal Realm as part of this.
Aqui ele tá falando que não tinha isso antes programado quando o jogo foi lançado e antes do jogo ser lançado. Então é uma coisa que parece meio zoada e é de certo, basicamente. Mas é que eles colocaram esse sistema agora, por isso que vai precisar fazer isso.
Smoothest, most sophisticated because we're doing it under very tight time constraints as quickly as possible.
Cobrar o valor que eles cobram, eles deveriam ter colocado isso desde o início, né?
I'm just saying, like that wasn't the design from the start was not to do this.
Right.
Log in a character on the 18th and make it pass.
Yeah,
that's what we had to do to make it happen for season 1.
And this was based off of obviously player feedback that we got since launch.
Ele está falando que essa mudança é relacionada ao
feedback that you guys have been giving, and then on top of that, I like a huge shout out to our engineers for getting this all implemented before.
Eles estão se auto-valorizando por terem implementado isso. Mas, tipo,
miracles can happen very quickly. So
a lot of these actually end up with us going to an engineer and asking how long it would take to do it. And
hey,
the
first
answer is to do it right.
First answer is they cry.
Yeah. And then there's like, okay, well, what about to make it work right now? And always, if you told me you wanted to do this X months ago, I could have done it way easier because we implemented it completely differently. So yeah, we make it work, but sometimes the fact that you have to log in to get the progress propagated, we would have made it a smoother version if we knew months ago.
All right, look, all right.
Ele tá falando que se eles soubessem antes que isso seria algo importante, eles teriam feito de uma forma melhor.
Okay, yeah, all right. It's a live game. We know we need to it's a live game. We know we are looking at trying to make improvements based on the feedback that we're getting from players. We're playing the game ourselves, so we're kind of seeing how everything is really feeling as it's all coming together with a giant audience of players.
Porque eles também estão jogando o jogo enquanto a gente faz os feedbacks.
Some of those things are a lot harder than others. But like all the feedback, like Adam, you called out some things really early on at the program. Like we're hearing feedback about this and this, and like inventory space. We talked about gems last time and things we want to do there. We're trying to move very quickly in a lot of these things. Some of them are a lot more challenging technically to do than others. But we are rapidly moving on as many changes as we can because we are fervently trying to make the very best version of Diablo 4.
E aí ele tá falando que tem coisas que demoram mais tempo do que eles gostariam, por isso que eles não fizeram ainda ou não vão fazer agora para a primeira temporada, mas que eles estão fazendo o mais rápido possível para tudo que a gente está enviando de feedback, a comunidade está enviando de feedback, seja ouvida e seja feita. E que eles querem a melhor qualidade possível do jogo sempre. E que eles valorizam que a gente continue dando feedbacks, que as pessoas continuem falando.
From reading it wherever he reads it, the first version is always, can we do this immediately? That is always the first request. Never like, hey, let's get this in eventually, when it makes sense and when it's comfortable. No, it's always, could we do this right now? Is it possible for us to do this right now?
E aí uma das coisas que eles estão falando é que quando chega alguma coisa, a primeira pergunta que eles fazem é: a gente consegue fazer isso agora, imediatamente?
I think one of the sort of the junior mistakes some people can make is this idea of like time is only what it takes to implement, and it's not. It's time is also what it takes to test and make sure that it's robust and stable. And so that's one of the things that like when you look at we have a follow the sun QA organization around the world, and that's what allows us to do, I don't know what to fit.
E o que ele está falando é que não só leva o tempo para desenvolver a solução, para encaixar dentro do jogo, mas também para testar e ver se está tudo ok.
Very quickly, but we also have some heroic QA teams around the world who are helping us make sure that when we make these changes, we're doing it in a safe way. So, but I appreciate your
Falando
patience
nisso,
on that.
vocês melhorarem o servidor, eu também agradeço.
Season 1, Season of the Malignant?
Yeah. It's finally here.
Yes.
I'm waiting to reveal this for a long
2 weeks?
time.
In 2 weeks, and again,
Daqui
like
duas
Tim had
semanas.
mentioned,
Dia 20 de julho, oficialmente começa a
as
season.
Tim had mentioned, we will have a patch on the 18th for Diablo 4 that will contain all the changes.
E aí,
that will be coming
lembrando
in with
que
Season
dia
1.
18 sai o
Tiffany
patch,
Watt were here.
mas a
On our
season
Campfire
começa dia
chat
20.
before.
Yep.
She categorized our 103 patch as chonky.
Right.
I will categorize in Tiffany Watt's words
It's a technical
as
term, yeah.
super chonky for season 1. It actually is our largest, or chonkster, as Tim called it. I think we were.
E que vai ser muito grande, o patch vai ser
We're going to
gigantesco.
pull
o
up the
patch.
Wikipedia entry and
Tem muita coisa no
the
patch.
history of chonkers. But yeah, it is very big.
Do dia
So
18.
we
Hoje
will
tem
have notes out
patch
for that.
menor,
And again,
mais dia
players
18.
can prepare for season 1 by completing the campaign for sure.
Do the campaign,
and making
clear the
sure,
fog of war.
yeah, clear fog of war, discover the map, and of course, get all your altars. So lots to come for Diablo 4. And then again, we also have just more improvements that will be in that patch. What class our balance changes to bug fixes to
Vamos ter balanceamento de classes, bugs e coisas que já...
for some Nightmare and Helltide related activities as well, some endgame activities, because I've been hearing some feedback regarding.
E eles falam que também tem mudanças no patch do dia 18 relacionado às atividades de endgame. Tem no update de hoje e do dia 18.
We do.
And this is a live stream, by the way.
Yeah.
So I know we get sometimes people are like, I don't know if this is live. No, this is totally live. So we're actually going to be bringing in, we're actually going to kick off Rod because we're done with him. No, I'm just kidding. Rod is actually just
going to go and annoy you from the side.
I know, it's the worst.
E aí eles vão fazer agora algumas perguntas e respostas.
Chris and Ryan from the Immortal team. who will be jumping in
Oh, I
here.
think you're supposed to
E aí
open that share.
vai voltar dos devs do Diablo Immortal.
Rod had one job and failed to do it.
I failed to open the chair.
So we're going to bring these guys in. I know we have questions.
Então tá ao
queued
vivo
up
no
from
YouTube e
different
também na
people,
Twitch, né? Então,
in Twitch chat. So if you guys have questions, of course, feel free to drop in questions and
This is
everything.
not quite in.
então tem dois devs de volta
I need to
do
scooch
que é
too, because I think
do
I'm
Diablo Immortal, que são os dois à esquerda, né?
We're scooching live.
And we're scooching, live scooching, ladies and
So
gentlemen.
here's the problem. We also, the
all
production
kinds of
team hates me.
cables beneath us.
I want to give a shout out to our production group behind here because
Ele tá
I
agradecendo ao
literally go
pessoal
like, oh, we're only
de
gonna have,
produção
like,
de
2 people.
vídeo.
And then we continue to add people, and then Rod wanted to be in it yesterday. So now suddenly we're up to like 20 people, and this room can't hold this many people.
Os dois
So
devs da esquerda da tela são os
they are
devs do Diablo
angels
Immortal
and
que
they
criaram
do
a classe
but,
e as
we
mecânicas
do have some
de
questions,
updates também,
and I will
e
be kinda
mecânica
going
da
back
classe
and
nova, que é o
forth
Guerreiro de
with
Sangue.
them, but we do.
Cavaleiro de
perfect.
Sangue.
We do have some questions up here. Someone's also calling me, which is awful at this time. Quick question: any updates around? This is for D4 specifically. Any updates around respecting characters?
Algum update sobre
right now,
como a gente
I think that there's a few
o custo de recolocar as skills, né, que custa gold. Muito gold.
different concerns we're hearing from the community. There's the general cost of respecting characters, and then there is at various stages of the game, and then there is the actual experience of respecting a character, particularly when you're deeper into the Paragon system. Like that takes a lot of effort. So we have longer-term plans on the user experience side, on the menu side, because we want to improve the flow.
Então, uma coisa que ele tá falando é que eles têm, a longo prazo, eles têm redesign
things we're looking
pra
to add
isso.
into seasons in the future, but we don't have a date that we're committing to today for that. And in terms of the actual price of that, we're evaluating things on like the gold economy, and we're taking a look at like what players are doing on a regular basis. We're not making any fundamental structural changes to today at this time, but we are, because we're satisfied with where things feel like in the 150. One thing we will be adding though is as part of seasons, there is now a new reward that you can collect as you're going through the season journey at the end of each season, called the Scroll of Amnesia, which once you collect a Scroll of Amnesia, you can use that one time to basically reset the entirety of a character all in one go. For no
Falando que na Season 1 vai ser introduzido o pergaminho da amnésia, e esse pergaminho da amnésia vai poder dar respect no personagem inteiro.
And that Scroll of Amnesia is everything. It's all your skills,
It's all
all your
skills, all your
Paragon.
Paragon e skills, tudo, você vai tipo zerar e poder dar
I'm reading
respect de
everyone's
graça.
names. 8 miles west. How much will the Blood Knight cost? I know we covered this early on, but if you guys want to reiterate,
The Blood Knight will cost nothing. The Blood Knight is free.
it's free. So
Blood
if you're
Knight é o
new
nome da
Immortal
classe, né,
player,
do
or you're
Diablo
a
Immortal.
existing Immortal player, you
É
can literally
free
jump
pra
in,
jogar.
start
Não vai
playing
custar nada.
the Blood Knight on day 1, which is on July 13th. So, and of course, you can play through the campaign, and we had mentioned that it has essentially custom VO and everything.
E é
associated
semana que vem
with it.
que sai ele. 13.
For D4, I should be more prepared with these.
That's usually that's a
usually-
safe statement all the time. Is
We
you should be more
we
prepared.
have Rod judging me off screen right here, and I'm just like, it's
Perfect.
Little side story real quick. So we have a thing in design called design armor, where like as you're about to like talk about an idea with someone, you're like, this might be a really bad idea, but and that's you putting up your shield saying, this is my design armor. Saying, I know that this might be really, really bad, but we're talking about it anyway. So yes, I should probably
Tô
be
enchendo o
prepared.
saco do cara da direita, que é do time de divulgação e comunidade.
Fig Lorna.
You committed to saying the names.
I know I did.
We don't want anyone to suggest that these are not good questions.
Yeah, from Fig Lorna, will seasonal mechanics be added to the Eternal Realm after the season ends? I think that's something
Perguntando
we
se as
didn't
mecânicas que foram utilizadas na Season 1 vai carregar pro jogo base.
Like, hey, this is awesome. Are we going to keep it around forever? Initially, no. Like initially, the
Inicialmente,
version
não.
of the melee mechanics that you're seeing are not planned to show up in the Eternal Realm. However, we are reserving the right as developers that if we see something cool and we think, wow, this is just fantastic.
Se eles acharem que é bacana, que é muito bom,
just make it part of the game. So it is
que eles vão fazer
absolutely
parte do
option.
game base.
Some mechanics you might see in future seasons might be that way right away. We might be planning that, hey, this will show up in Eternal Realm right away. Others will evaluate them as we play them and then see if this is working.
Algumas que forem muito boas, eles já vão implementar
logo
logo de cara e já vão
Yeah, I
avisar
wanna stay
quando a
with
season
just one
chegar.
second longer. That's not to
Outras não.
suggest that we're not going to be, as part of the seasons, intentionally using those update opportunities to create content for the base game, like
Yes.
stuff that will persist beyond the end of the season. But we really do want to hone in on the idea that we're like, Malignant Hearts are very powerful, as we talked about before. They're really, really cool. They're very exciting. We can't add something exciting like that every season if it's expected to all last, because the game's going to be a complete mess.
Right.
So we're not going to do that.
Eles não vão fazer se for algo que pode bagunçar demais o jogo.
In terms of what they offered to the players over the course of time. And it would make the game extraordinarily dense in terms of what the players expected to do on a regular basis.
And to understand.
We know that there's opportunities to extend things like add more endgame features. We know that there's more content that we want to add to the game in general that like everybody's going to need forever, and we're going to be looking at those opportunities as we go. But things like Malignant Hearts, we don't want to have something of that size in Season 1, then add something of similar size in Season 2, and then Season 3 and Season 4, because the game's going to get very...
O que eles não querem é que o jogo fique muito atribulado com coisas que vieram de Seasons e o jogo base acabe perdendo por conta disso, porque é muita coisa.
It's also part of the cool factor of the season is that when you're going in, these Malignant Hearts, it's there for the season. So even, let's take a player that, let's say, doesn't like to play alts except of the same class. I just love playing Barbarian, and you know, I have 3 different Barbarians already on Eternal because it's the perfect class.
Player, and all you play is rogues, and all you do is build rogues.
There might be a lot of those too. But let's say a Barbarian, that's my hypothetical, I'm sticking with it. So I'm a Barbarian lover, and I've made all these Barbarians. Season 1 is still an exciting time to make a new Barbarian, because we have all of these new Malignant powers that allow you to make radically new builds that are...
E aí o que ele tá falando aqui é que se você gosta de jogar só de Bárbaro, porque você pode criar um novo Bárbaro com novas mecânicas que vão aparecer na Season, ou testar uma nova build com um novo personagem, com uma nova classe. Ó, a ideia da Season é isso.
It's Rod off camera speaking.
Rod off camera. Hey,
yeah.
Voice guy.
Joe,
yes.
Maybe speak to the fact that everybody starts at the same place of the season as one of the benefits, so that people aren't like a year behind when they go to play season 4.
Yeah, that's an important part of this as well. One of the reasons we really like the idea of letting players start back fresh and have like an economy reset, players really jumping back in the experience at level 1 with characters, is it allows us to focus on making sure the entirety of that journey is really engaging and exciting for players.
E aí a ideia de você começar um novo personagem em cada temporada é que você não tenha necessidade de você pensar que se seu amigo começou só 3 temporadas depois, ele vai estar atrás. Não, vocês podem começar junto e evoluir junto.
Part of what makes a Diablo game anyway is like making a new character, you know, getting those item drops, like building up towards the end. With regards to like the way that we decided to conduct our efforts in Seasons for Diablo 4, we think this is a really the prime example of the way that we can make this work.
But I wanted you to hit on the point, the fact that if somebody buys the game,
yeah. They're not like fundamentally behind.
Yeah, if somebody like, I'm gonna mess with the camera people. Can you? Yeah. You can't even do it, can you? You can't even get there. All we can do is I can just have my talking and stuff. Oh, hey, what's going on?
E aí volta o cara pra falar.
The thing that we're talking about is that we want, again, the game is a live service. The game's gonna live for years. We want somebody who buys the game a year from now to not feel like they're a year behind.
Yeah.
E aí o que ele entra pra falar é que o benefício das temporadas é que você não precisa, daqui a um ano, achar que você tá pra trás, né? Na verdade, as pessoas vão ter cosméticos e tudo mais assim, como, por exemplo, Fortnite. Mas ele não usou o exemplo de Fortnite, eu tô usando. Mas é porque você pode criar um personagem novo e jogar do mesmo ponto que seus amigos estão jogando.
The most important thing for us in Seasons, like kind of going off script in a different way now, is that like when you're playing Seasons and you're playing Diablo 4, you're having a great time. And when you've reached all the goals and done the things that you think are really important, and you want to go like take a break to go play something else for a little while, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. We do the same thing.
You don't fall behind.
But when a season rolls and there's new things for you to come check out, that's a great time to come back.
Então, é que a ideia é que depois que você termina a parte base do jogo e tudo mais, as temporadas são novidades, coisas pra você voltar e continuar a sua jornada dentro de Diablo, que é um refresh, né?
And everybody's on an even footing. Yeah.
Question here from Jeffrey Allen, and didn't specify the Steve or DI, so I'm actually going to ask both because I think this is relevant to both. Also,
why do you have a new mic?
I actually don't know. But yeah, two mics, guys. I'm very, I'm very.
like Adam. I'm too like Adam.
You have me in stereo. Can you
Zero
say
fact que
which
tá usando dois
cosmetics will be
microfones.
transferring between characters? So for instance, like for Diablo Immortal, we'll ask this specifically for Diablo Immortal, and then we'll talk about Diablo 4. But in regards to transferring cosmetics, like if you ended up buying a cosmetic in Diablo Immortal, does that actually also appear on the Blood Knight?
So cosmetics purchased prior to the Blood Knight's release will not be retroactive. However, the sorry, what was the Mother's Lament said?
Hatred's Heritage.
Hatred's Heritage will be available for the Blood Knight.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So
Também
going forward, there will be now new cosmetics available for the Blood Knight, just as they are for all the other
skins
classes.
anteriores à nova classe do
And then
Diablo
I guess for
Immortal
D4, will cosmetics be transferring to
não
seasons?
vai acontecer.
And, will they
E aí
be
vão ser
reobtained?
lançadas
I know this
novas
is like a question that we get a lot from people
novas
in
skins
regards
que
to
são transferíveis entre
transmogs
personagens.
and if you
No Diablo
salvage
Immortal.
specific stuff, how does that work between characters from Eternal and Seasonal realms?
Yeah, I believe that's all transferring over with you when you go into the new season. And obviously, every cosmetic set that you're purchasing via the store and via the Battle Pass, that stuff also is going to be carrying over with you.
Yeah, so if you ever unlock anything, your whole account has access to it forever. Is the
E
good
aí,
part.
os transmogs do Diablo
I shouldn't say
4,
that way, but it sounds like we're gonna change
todos
that.
ficam. Se você já tem todos os transmogs do Diablo
Let's
4
see.
no,
This from
no jogo base, ele vai ser
Kincho
carregado
Kimo.
para Season 1.
This
Those
is
novos
Nightmare
personagens.
Teleport was great, but why can't we just teleport right into dungeons rather than just to the entrance? So this one I think is interesting because Nightmare, we obviously incorporated the teleport here in 103. It was another thing that we had talked about where it was community feedback that we had gotten and the team jumped on it really
Perguntando por
quickly
que você não
to
pode
implement it in this
teletransportar
specific
para
way. We
dentro da
haven't seen a
dungeon
lot
em
of
vez da
feedback in
porta.
regards to players having to teleport outside of dungeons and kind of go through like a couple load screens. It was a quick, I know, implementation from the team and everything. So I know it's something that we've been hearing from our side, and it's something that we're going to be looking at more here in the future for optimizing and making sure that we can implement maybe in a better way from some of the features that we've been just kind of adding in really quickly. On Immortal, we have. Was there some sort of Castlevania inspiration with the Blood
Verdade, teve
Knight?
uma inspiração
Looking
no
very,
Castlevania.
very similar
Do
to
novo
some
personagem,
popular
é
characters
óbvio.
from that franchise. Very
Nova
pretty,
classe, né?
vampire-ish people, but not vampires.
I think we discovered Adam's kink, by the way.
We can turn off Rod's mic now, so that's all we need to do. But yeah, was there any inspiration kind of thrown with the Blood Knight?
I think, you know, when you're working with a tropic idea in fantasy like vampires, you know, you take inspiration from all over. The spear thing puts us in
Ele tá
mind
perguntando
of
se tem, e o cara tá falando que é
Taylor.
cultura,
The
né?
aesthetic, you've already talked about some
A estética, tudo. São coisas da cultura
like
pop,
what
são
we
coisas
take
da
out
cultura
is what we
fantástica.
leave in. We don't want the Blood Knight to feel like a grab bag of all vampiricness. They are very specifically grotesque, blood, shadow, knightly weapons oriented. And so there were things like turning into mist, like turning into wolves, etc., that we immediately said, hey, these need to be off the table. And so in that
Ele está
regard, I
falando
think
que eles
there's a lot
puxaram,
of
por
familiar
exemplo, sobre
that we're channeling, but there's also
familiaridade
like a
sobre os
very
vampiros, mas não
dialed-in
todo
identity
o
to
espectro de um vampiro, como
Everybody knows
se
that
transformar
there's
em
necromancers, that's
fumaça
written
ou ou seja.
Let's see. In regards to Diablo 4, we have. Will you guys be nerfing or buffing in the middle of seasons, or will you be making changes after the season starts?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So,
Você vai ter
this is from
balanceamento de
God, by the way,
classes
so there you go. I just
durante a
wanted to-
temporada ou só depois que a
so
temporada acontecer.
yes, this is a good question. So we made a number of adjustments
No
in the
Diablo
preseason
class.
period to make sure that we're bringing some builds back into where we expect them to be functionally and performance-wise. When we go into the seasonal release, we do want to create structured moments in time that we're going to be talking about, I think, more in future streams, when we expect like buffs and nerfs to happen. So we have like a regular set of like patches that are going to be occurring after the season is released, where we have like a better schedule, like in cadence when we're talking about these things. We really want to try to reserve like big nerfs and big buffs for only like extreme outlier cases, and really, things where they're really damaging the end game experience for a number of players. So we want to try to keep that more constrained, and we also want to have just fewer general like off cycle balance updates and things. So we're kind of keeping things more into this weekly cadence like we talked about.
So yeah, things will be pretty stable throughout the course of the season, unless, if one of the malignant powers, I know
Eles não vão interferir, a não ser que seja algo
if there's
quebrado.
no lights on fire when you use a malignant power,
Yeah.
we're gonna patch that. But otherwise, we're gonna try and keep things stable.
A ideia deles é não mexer muito, a não ser que seja algo que esteja quebrando o jogo.
And we're 1 minute away. So I'm gonna lightning off a few questions. A big question within chat is obviously about stash space, which is something that we kind of just talked about a little bit
Pergunta sobre
earlier.
espaço de inventário
We
de baú da
definitely hear
cidade.
everybody about this. We are talking a lot about what we need to do with this. We've got good plans of things we can do to improve the situation. I know it's frustrating to hear me say, like, what you were able to do this, like you could be able to do like nightmare dungeons this quickly, but like the reality is like we are moving really, really quickly on this, and we're gonna be trying to provide more space in the future, but figuring out how we're gonna get that accomplished.
Yeah, and also one
Eles
thing
não vão
to note
mexer
is,
por
I know we
enquanto,
talked
mas
about
eles já
during
estão
our chats
discutindo
about
a ideia
how,
e o que
gems and so forth were going to be part
e
of
como que eles vão
part of
resolver
the
essa parte do
materials,
espaço, mas
in the future.
para
So,
agora não tem nenhuma
I know
mudança.
when that hits, like that will obviously free up a lot of
Yeah,
stash
there's
space
lots
for
of different ways
users
to kind of
and
like
stuff
slice away at this problem, and that's like an example of what we're trying to do to mitigate this a bit.
And then Jim, the Q guy, asked how much time between seasons. He still wants to level up his main. So in between seasons, obviously, we had talked about seasons lasting 3 months.
It's a minimum of 12 weeks. Sometimes it might be a little longer, but you'll always have at least 12 weeks to complete.
Tá, cada season vai ter 12 semanas.
So you guys will hear like no matter what within or like once we hit that 3-month period, you'll start to hear news about the next season actually hitting.
Torno de 3 meses.
And then this one, I guess
Pode durar pouquinho mais, mas o
any
mínimo de
plans
12
on new
semanas.
classes coming to Diablo 4. We've just heard about the Blood Knight, so they're
Tá perguntando sobre novas classes em Diablo 4.
Wow, that was very constrained.
Yeah, Rod sitting off camera can answer that perfectly. So yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it here for today. Obviously, we talked a lot about
Nada de novas
all the
classes em
stuff
Diablo 4.
with Diablo Immortal for the Blood Knight coming out on July 13th. We also have for Diablo 4 Season 1, Season
Então, nova
Malignant,
classe no Diablo
which is gonna
Immortal
be,
dia
The
13.
patch will be on July 18th. And then the actual
E
season
a nova
starts on
temporada de
July
Diablo
20th.
4
We
dia
do
20.
actually have 2 blogs, one on DiabloImmortal.com and one on Diablo4.com. They'll be going live either right now or immediately after this live stream. That'll have all the details and information that we just talked about here on the stream. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up here for Diablo.
Patch this afternoon.
Oh yes, and there's a patch this
E
afternoon.
tem,
You'll be
tá
seeing.
recapitulando
I forgot,
tudo
that's why
e
they do it
lembrando que tem
after the
patch
stream.
ainda hoje.
Just trying to get out of it, guys.
E nos blogs da
We
Blizzard
will have
vão
a
trazer
patch,
todas
we'll have
essas
patch notes up on Diablo4.com. We have a patch article that will actually note, and we'll be updating people when that patch does hit. It is a client patch. It will require a download. It will be on all platforms.
Todas as plataformas vai ter o
Lots of
patch,
Diablo stuff coming up here
console
in the
e
next few
PC.
weeks. Really excited. Happy Diablo family.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff coming up. I know we will be rating 2 Diablo content creators immediately after the stream. One on Twitch, which is Barricade, and the other one on YouTube, which is Killswitch. So make sure to tune into those guys. And thank you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in to the Diablo Developer Update
Yes.
live stream. And
Okay, sure.
from everyone here on the Diablo team, we hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Ok, foi ok. Não. Season. Achei. Não sei, vou esperar pra jogar, mas achei um pouco fraco. Esperava mais conteúdo. Mas vamos ver se a história é interessante e tudo mais. Mas as mudanças de carregar o renome e tudo mais são extremamente bem-vindas. Obrigado a todo mundo que assistiu. Eu volto com a live mais tarde pra jogar um pouco de League of Legends ou um pouco de Diablo. Obrigado a todo mundo que veio. Deixa o like, compartilha. E a live inteira vai ficar disponível aqui. Desde o início dela, eu fui fazendo uma tradução simultânea mais focada, na verdade, no Diablo 4, Diablo Immortal eu não jogo, nem esperava ver muito na realidade, acho que eles usaram até bastante tempo. Mas é isso, muito obrigado a todo mundo que veio e até a próxima.